Hello, and welcome back to RollGiants, the official podcast of Waynesboro High School. I'm Mrs. Ford, and in today's episode, we'll talk to Mr. Stamm, the head principal at WHS. Though he's only been in the position for 3 years, Mr. Stamm is not a new face to the area. We'll learn a little more about his journey to Waynesboro and what he brings to our school community. It's a conversation.
Oh.
We're going to have a conversation.
So
do you want to try again?
So we got to start again.
I'm leaving this part in, though. All right, so how long have you been in your position, and how did you end up there?
This is my 4th year as the principal of Waynesboro High School. It'll be my 8th year overall at the high school and 9th in the division.
Okay.
Before that, I had 7 years of education experience. I was a teacher at Riverheads High School.
And what'd you teach?
I taught history, so I taught U.S. history and government.
Did you always want to be an educator?
I did. For a while there, I thought about doing something sports related with that, but I really felt like that the style of education and the lifestyle, so to speak, of education really fit me and what I wanted to do, and working with not just adults, but kids at the same time. You're working with the full gamut, so that really appealed to me.
But you played baseball in college.
I did play baseball.
With aspirations to go pro?
Never. That was never the goal.
Okay.
If it happened, it happened.
Yeah.
I don't think there was ever a goal. It was always my goals in life, and it was, whether it's work life or back then, 20 years ago athletically, was get to the next level. Mm-hmm. What's the next step? Get to the next level. And I was fortunate to be a small percentage of people that go on and play Division I sports. Mm-hmm. That was a great experience, but it's one of those things, like, you always work to be the best, and if the best leads you to the next spot, then great. But if not, you put your best into it. So yeah. I did that with sports, and I do the same thing now.
So what did you learn from baseball that you carry over into your position now?
Time management. 100% time management.
I'm glad somebody has time management, because I don't.
But that's a big thing. And when I talk with young student athletes here, some of the things we talk about, and I'm happy I've had that experience because I can relate to them then to talk about, there is accountability. You do stand for you represent something more than yourself. But also, even though it's hard, the time management piece that these young student athletes put in will help them later in their lives, as they grow up and become professionals, become mothers, become fathers, become members of a community. And I think that same message also applies to those that go out and they work after school and go work for 5-6 hours after school, go home, take care of what they take care of, and come in and have a productive day the next day at school.
Yeah. So think back to yourself as a first-year teacher. What was that like?
Looking back at it as a principal?
Yeah.
I would have been in my room a lot more than my principal was in my room. I think we all talk about that as administrators. We look back and say, look at myself as a young teacher. Mm-hmm. What would I have said to myself?
Yeah.
It's interesting. But what my room would look like, I think my goal when I was younger, when I think I was 24 when I had my first year in a classroom, but it was first year teacher, I thrived on my relationship with the kids.
Yeah.
That's where I thrived. That's where I did well at. And that allowed me I was able to work with the kids. The kids were, we had a good relationship, and that allowed me to have a little more time to grow. Mm-hmm. We talk about the science and the art of teaching. At that point, I felt like the art was ahead of the science.
Yeah, yeah.
So that gave me time to learn from people that were much more seasoned than I was, and I was fortunate to have a good group of people around me that were willing to work with me as they do with any other first-year teacher, and take what you learn in college and take what you learn in a vacuum and apply it to the real world.
Yeah.
What is teaching really like? What is working with students that come from a variety of backgrounds with a variety of needs? Mm-hmm. How does that look like in an orchestrated and productive manner? So, yeah.
So what our families may not know about you is that you came down from Pennsylvania.
I did.
Born and raised in Pennsylvania.
Not born.
Oh, you're right. My mistake. You weren't born. But pretty much raised in Pennsylvania. Went to college in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
How in the world did you land in Virginia?
So I'll tell you what. It's not surprising to me. I was born in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Lived 8 years in New Mexico. Spent until I came down to Virginia. Lived 13 years in Pennsylvania through college. And I'll be honest with you, what happened was our career services in college had a trip. They worked with the the department, our history department. Those are going to be educators and set up opportunities for us to meet with divisions, kind of as a job hiring opportunity, a recruitment thing through different divisions. Largely it was in Northern Virginia and Maryland, but we spent about 3 days going around and just doing mock interviews with and being hosted by different divisions from Spotsylvania up through Maryland. And there's a group of us out of that felt like, wow, we really liked being in Virginia. We liked the schools that we were visiting and whatnot. And some of us started applying down here. I was fortunate. Riverheads was my first interview, and Riverheads was the only interview I needed.
Yeah.
And I was my home for 7 years, and I learned a lot there. And actually, some of those other people, too, came down here, same as me. I had some teaching in Richmond, down around that area, that some of them are still down there. So I can't say what it was particularly that drew us here. It's just we had a good experience meeting people from the schools and hearing about what education was in their divisions and what education was in Virginia. And 15 years later, I still like that. I still believe in that.
So no ambitions to go back to Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it's my mom. She wants me to come back. Me? No. We like it. We've had our son here.
Yeah.
We love Waynesboro. We're dedicated to Waynesboro. We're loyal to Waynesboro, and that's where this is where we want to be.
And your son's coming to high school this year.
Son's coming to high school this year.
Super excited.
I am.
Somebody needs to be.
Mom's a little anxious,
Yeah.
just because he's getting older.
Yes.
So
yeah.
he's our only kid. So
Yep.
he's 4 years away from going on to the next level of life. So.
Yeah. So if you had to pinpoint maybe the most rewarding experience in education, what would it be?
This is always a tough question because I think the answer everybody expects is it's all the most rewarding is a smile on a kid's face every day. And we are in education because we care about kids. We care about kids. We care about their growth. We care about our community. We care about our family. I think for me the most rewarding piece of it is that, kind of going back to what we talked about earlier, is that I work with all the different levels. Mm-hmm. I'm working with adults. I'm working with people that are seasoned professionals and are experts in their field, and I'm working with students that are first time in high school, and they're the first kid or the first child they're the first child in their family
to potentially graduate from high school.
Yeah. So I'm working with everybody in this, and that's what I like. I'm not just working with adults. I'm working with the students. And all of it, whether it's working with the staff, working with the students, the goal is always to have a positive outcome.
Yeah.
So that's what I enjoy. In my job, I'm not kind of pigeonholed into one area.
Yeah. And being in this position going into 4 years, you haven't had a normal year.
None of us have.
No.
No, our seniors this year have not had a normal year in high school, and none of our, if we have staff that have begun their careers in the last couple years since COVID, since 2020. Mm-hmm. They have not had a normal year, and we don't know if this is going to be a normal year.
Right.
I think we were all thinking last year that we knew it would be normal, but I don't think everybody was aware of exactly all of the different things that would come into play.
Yeah.
Nowhere in the country did you know that. So, I feel like we're more prepared. I feel like we have a lot more resources in place for our students, and I think our students understand what we expect at school. I believe our teachers also understand what it is that our students need and what our families need and our communities need. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're always working to, is to kind of bridge that gap and create that synchronization between us and the home.
Yeah.
With that. So, we're hoping in terms of what normal could look like, I think we're in a new normal.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of making it productive for everybody.
Right. So what do you think, at least in the position that you're in now, and you can include AP in this, what do you think is the most challenging thing you've had to go through?
Oh, absolutely, the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For a lot of reasons. I'm fortunate to live in a division and work at a division where I think in situations like we've had over this last 2 years, we are a small division in terms of schools in Virginia, but I feel like that played to a benefit. We have good people. We have more of a tight-knit professional community here, being a smaller division. So I felt like that played in our benefit. Mm-hmm. And one thing I feel like was great about it also is at no time was there ever a question about what our focus was. Our focus was always about supporting our kids, our students, our employees.
Yep.
Individually, and people put in, that's always the focus, and people put in the work for it. But I think if you ask anybody to say the last 2 years was not there,
It's awful.
if the last 2 years was not their most difficult, I want to know what their most difficult was.
Yeah, or why?
And that's not just for staff, that's for families.
It's for
That's
everybody.
for everybody. So.
Yeah. So what are you most excited about for this upcoming year?
I always like a fresh start.
Yeah.
Every year I like a fresh start, with that. So we've had some good conversations over the summer. We've done some great PD things over the summer. We've done some great work with our central office, with other schools in our division. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for our staff that's coming back. That's worked through the hard ups and downs of the last couple of years.
Yes.
To come back in. I'm excited for the staff that we brought on board.
I'm so excited for our new hires.
We have a pretty.
Yes.
We have people from across the country that are coming in here now.
Literally.
Yeah, we have people that just graduated college locally. We have people from literally across the country that are coming to join us. I know the middle school has some people coming from internationally to come join them.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see I always like to see what different people bring to the table.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. We have a full administrative staff this year. We've got, we brought in some good pieces from whether in the division or outside the division. Mm-hmm. Same thing with middle school. They have some new blood over there, and I think that's gonna help us when it comes to supporting our staff and our kids.
Yeah. So let's do some fun questions. What would you say your favorite school appropriate word is?
Kid word or adult word?
It could be either.
Are we using favorite in quotes?
We can. Sarcastically favorite.
I hear bruh a lot.
Bruh. I think it's such a great word, though.
I internally chuckle, but it's not appropriate. Don't talk to an adult like that.
Sure. But what if, like your colleague says it to you? I walk in your office.
Probably stare at him for a minute and then start laughing. So.
Okay, so that's.
I guess I can consider it a term of endearment that they're comfortable to talk to me like a friend.
True. So. Okay. Best piece of advice.
If any of you are listening to this, no, I do not want you to call me bruh.
No, don't call Mr. Stamm bruh. No, not until maybe after you graduate. Then there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I might have new words with that. I found a thing the other day about common teenage slang, and there were terms in there that I did not know that's what they meant. So
okay,
I learned things the other day.
Well, Miss Cobb said her favorite right now is bussin'.
Like I haven't heard that one yet.
You go get something good to eat. Man, that food was bussin'.
I wish I had the thing I found the other day, because there was one in there. I'm like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, mine is yeet, because to throw something. Like I just want to yeet stuff out of the way. It's the best.
These are the conversations we have at about 5:30 at the end of a school day about the words we hear during the day.
Yes, and we're old and we don't understand.
And compare them to things that we probably said that our administrators looked at us and went, what the heck are you saying?
Yeah, why? All right, so what do you think the best piece of advice you've ever received is?
I'm trying to think. I get lots of people that tell me lots of things.
Yeah, but you ignore a lot of things. So, like, go home, spend time with your family. And you go, bah.
Probably, and I still have trouble doing this, but I keep it in the back of my head all the time when I'm trying to fish it. Actually, as recent as yesterday when I was like clocked into doing something, I was like, it can wait till tomorrow. But my wife tells me all the time, put a period on your day.
Yes.
She tells me all the time. She goes, Brian, you got to learn to put a period on your day.
Your wife is very smart.
So as far as advice I can think of that's very beneficial, that's one of them, because I keep it in the back of my head. If I'm here and I'm trying and I'm working, I'm like, I can just do a little bit more. I can keep that in the back of my head to try and find a stopping point.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. If blank were an Olympic sport, what would you medal in?
See, this turns into like a 10 years ago versus a now.
I want thing. Now. Yeah, because 10 years ago, Stamm is a lot different than now Stamm.
If blank were an Olympic sport.
Could be anything.
Lawn mowing.
You're a medalist in lawn mowing.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm almost 40 years old. I still refuse to buy a riding lawnmower. I have a structured way of mowing my grass.
Okay. All right.
To the T.
Does it have crosshatch patterns?
Every other mow.
Okay. So
it's got to start from a single point on the fence, go in a certain direction.
Wow.
You wouldn't know by looking at my yard, but it's the way it works in my head.
Okay. All right. And then last question. As the principal, you get to see off our graduates every single year. What should they know when they walk out of these doors for the last time?
That everybody in this building gave them everything they had.
Yeah.
I think that's the big one. So those kids are out here. They get why they're here, and that's a big thing when we go and hire. And you know this, Ms. Ford. When we go and hire, we're looking at school people that are vested in the kids beyond just, you're in my classroom, you're on my roster. You're vested in the whole person. So knowing that everybody in this building gave them their best. Mm-hmm. And with that being the case, and you are one of our 900 students, and you come in and you give us your best, I know you're going to walk out here and be successful. I don't have any doubt about that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. When you walk across that stage and you go and you see your family, and you and your family walk out of here, know that we gave you everything we had.
Yeah. I like that. Any final parting words before I hit the stop button?
I don't know when we're putting out this podcast, but August 1st is coming.
It is very quickly.
I'm excited to see the staff. I'm excited to see the kids when they come back on August 9th.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Mr. Stamm. Bye. That was Mr. Bryan Stamm, head principal of Waynesboro High School. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure to check back in for our next episode where we get to meet yet another member of the administrative team. As always, Roll Giants!